Have you heard about the Chase infinite money glitch, which really should be called "You are the world's biggest moron if you do this because it's a legal glitch"? So here's this thing, it's been viral, it's been all over YouTube and a bunch of places. The Chase money glitch is really check fraud, but people are calling it a glitch. And what people do is they'll write a check. Let's say you write a check for $5,000 and you don't have any money in your account, but you go to an ATM, you put in the check, right? Well, under federal law, they have to make $225 available to you. For whatever reason, the Chase, again, glitch is that when you put this $5,000 check in the ATM, it looks like you have $5,000. So people have been writing checks on money they don't have, putting in the ATM machine, and then immediately taking that money out as soon as it shows they have $5,000. Again, people are recording themselves doing this. They're calling it the infinite money glitch, but it is illegal. It is check fraud, and these knuckleheads, of course, are getting caught and have been caught. So number one, don't do check fraud. Don't take money out that doesn't belong to you. But here's where the dangerous part comes in. There's so many scammers out there today. What if one of these scammers gets a hold of your personal information and they start doing this? They start writing checks on your account, and then you are held responsible for this fraud because they're stealing your money. So if one of these scammers gets a hold of your information, let's say they opened a bank account, they got some checks and they tried this, it obviously wouldn't be fun because it could take you years and years to recover from this identity theft and all the check fraud and all the bank accounts they opened. So horrible situations, but in a worst case situation, you could lose your house, your car, and that's where I want to share today's sponsor, Delete Me. If you've been around my channel, you know that I'm a big fan. I've been using Delete Me for a very long time because they do an excellent job of removing your data online so that data brokers and scammers can't take advantage of your personal information. However, did you know that Delete Me can now do this for all your family members who are 18 years and older? So it's been pretty awesome because I got a lot of family members. So if you want to cover them all, if you want to make sure that they're not getting ripped off by these check fraud scammers and everybody else, it's easy to incorporate all your family with Delete Me. They have individual data sheets for each family member. Basically, this means that you can assign a unique account to each family member tailored to their specific online footprint. This ensures they get personalized and effective removal of all their information from the data broker databases and these people who search websites that obviously you don't want your information on. They have a privacy-first design, so data sheets can be set to private, making them inaccessible to the account owner so that you can respect everybody in your family's privacy if you don't want them seeing your stuff, and vice versa. They have comprehensive online safety, so every single family member's digital presence is protected, significantly reducing the risk of unwanted exposure, stalkings, spam, and a bunch of scams. And of course, they give you simplified management and peace of mind, very easy to use controls. Account owners can manage their privacy settings for the whole family, all under one roof. It's a piece of cake. So scammers aren't going anywhere. They're always on the search for your data. So make sure you use Delete Me so they can't access your information or your family's information. Go to joindeleteme.com/Hanson. That's Hanson, and use code Hanson for 20% off your plan. Again, joindeleteme.com/Hanson and get 20% off, and use them like I do. All right, so what are some of the penalties for these check fraud, what these guys are doing, these scammers and these knuckleheads? Well, you can get up to 1 year in jail and at least a $4,000 fine. So it's going to cost you several $1,000s. So of course, up to a year in jail isn't good. If you are charged with forging a check, a credit card, then you're going to be charged with a state felony. So let me see what else people have got here. All right, here's a guy in Orange County. He committed check fraud, and actually he was a bank teller. So he was an inside man doing this, and he tried to do check fraud for up to $1.2 million worth of checks before the bank eventually caught him. And he hasn't been sentenced yet, but he's now facing up to 30 years in prison. Plus, this guy was a convicted felon. I don't know why he's working at the bank if he's a convicted felon, and he got caught with a firearm when they raided his house. So he has an additional 10 years that could be tacked onto that because he was a felon in possession of a gun. So not a good thing there, especially if you're facing up to 30 years. And if he's got a previous record, he's gonna it's not gonna be a slap on the wrist for him. Let's see. This says Mount Vernon man pleads guilty to elaborate check fraud scheme. How long did this guy get? He was found hiding under a couch at a co-conspirator's home when he got arrested. So don't do that. He was trying to do check fraud for approximately $760,000 in fraudulent checks. And let's see. And it doesn't show what he got sentenced for, but it says what he did carries a maximum sentence of 30 years in prison, and then also one count of bank fraud, which carries a maximum sentence of 30 years in prison, and one count of 1 count of aggravated identity theft, which carries a mandatory prison term of 2 years. So he's going to jail for a while, at least 2 years. So long story short, don't do check fraud. And anybody who thinks this Chase infinite banking money scheme is a good idea clearly does not very intelligent. So avoid check fraud, but of course protect your identity, because there's too many scammers and thieves out there who try and steal identity, who are going to try and do this check fraud under your name. So make sure you're protecting yourself. Unfortunately, it's the world we live in.